Alright, you guys, so now we're gonna go and cover Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin on a 3 monthly candle. These 3 monthly candles are very important where they close. Also, if you notice, I mentioned this earlier on the other video that I did about Ethereum, how these boxes, I call it the 3 candle boxes, because normally there's 3 candles. Sometimes I'll stand and there'll be a fourth one, but normally it's just 3 of them. For example, this one right here, the reason why they're green is because of this indicator, but normally when they're coming upwards, the first one gives you the resistance, the second one gives you support, especially to new territories like this. When they give you it's more easier because it'll give you your first one will give you your resistance, the next one your support. From there you box it up. Depending what time frame you're on, you wait for normally the last 3 weeks. The last 3 days or the last hours, depending again which time frame you're on. For example, the month 3 monthly, then you would pay attention more towards the last month, because the first 2 months it could be okay. So we close here, so it could be up here. Maybe the first month push on up, second month comes back down, it even breaks below, and third month maybe still hanging right here, and here comes maybe the last 2 weeks of the last week. The second week ends up closing here. The third week, and then finally the fourth week ends up coming up in here, and maybe the last 3 days of that week ends up shooting on up, which is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then it closed here, which is what happened this last month, but not in that order. But that's pretty much what happened. It finally broke and went through it. If you would have been paying attention to your 3 candle box, and you would have paid attention where it was on. So let me go to the monthly right here, holding this, going back inside of here, the 3 candle box. So if you go down to a day, so right here, right when it got inside of the box again and held it right here, which is April 25th, you would have catch all of this explosion of the market. So that's why I like to pay attention to these 3 candle boxes. Here's another one. The fact that when they end up closing inside, that's also very bullish. Or give you especially if it barely goes in, there's a high possibility that bull run is still gonna continue if it gets inside that 3 candle box. Here's this one again. Continue, but did it fail? Especially on your fourth one failing, not completing it, that's a red flag right there. You want to complete it by your second or third. By your third one. Fourth one again is pushing it, but again you want that, especially that fourth one, to maintain inside. You start seeing this. If you go right here, let me see what's this. April 2nd. April. So the fact right here, it didn't complete these 2 weeks, or these 2 months, and the fact that it came down to this 50 right here. I told you guys it's very important to pay attention to 50s, and it's a monthly. Red fucking flag, and there you go, there's a dump. So anyways, now to the monthly. So it's an important way we close too. The fact that the end of this 3 monthly candle, we end up breaking finally through this important price where it couldn't break for the last 6 months. So the fact that by the 9th month it was actually inside all this along, how SPX was looking and everything where it was at, I was like, oh, okay, we're about to create a new all-time high with SPX. Most likely, as that happened, Bitcoin's gonna rally and we're gonna see it go to the all-time high, which is where we are right now. Now, I marked down the important prices because those are gonna be important prices to break through, whether it be coming down or coming up. It's hard prices to break through. Since it's a 3 monthly, I know that this in the future is going to be a hard price to break through. It's going to be an important key area for selling or buying, especially if there's certain data announcement coming up. Like, for example, if bad tariffs news and you then see it hanging in this price, and it's coming to the end of the week or the end of the day, whatnot, the indicator's mostly gonna tell you too. Indicator that I have, it's gonna tell you, hey, this is your time. This indicator right here, it's gonna tell you, hey, this is your time. This is your entry, and your targets are gonna be down here, just like it gave me an entry all the way down here for the market to catch all this. But anyways, besides that, that's not the point. So we closed high, right? And we're gonna go to the weekly. Again, pay attention. We want to hold, to still be bullish, we want to hold this price, 102,517. Now, investors are gonna be panicking is when it goes down into the 96s. You're gonna see something, whether it be tariff, whether it be a war, because again, Bitcoin is synchronized with the S&P 500. It used to be decentralized, not no more. It's not decentralized. It's, if you put S&P and Bitcoin or Ethereum together, you're gonna see the similarities and the synchronicity and whatnot. And you're gonna see that the market, as the market is getting closer to open right now, you're gonna see it open positive. And if it doesn't, you're gonna see also Bitcoin react to it as it opens maybe a little bit lower. But it depends where it opens. If we open a little bit lower, the market's just gonna recover and stay in that little price range. If we open way too much and we leave a gap, then the market, depending where we are, the market is gonna sustain or drop. But since Bitcoin Ethereum's been holding this whole price this whole time, you see XRP reacting earlier, the market should open in a good price. Anyways, continue with this shit. This is, you don't want it to tell you, this is where investors, traders are gonna start panicking, maybe selling some other coins, because other meme coins, other altcoins are gonna drop way more, which is gonna panic and leave investors, especially people that are into crypto, that because it's barely something new to them. If people barely know the market, understand the market, now imagine fucking crypto. So when people start seeing Bitcoin spike or whatnot, and I make new all-time high this or next week, they're gonna start scaring, especially if it comes to these prices, because again, all these other altcoins are gonna drop way more. They're gonna get scared, and it's either gonna hold in this area, come up here, but this V shape, it should be blasting. I don't really see the market coming back down to these regions. I just see it holding in this area. Most likely it's upper area, but the lowest I see is maybe going 102. Weekly wise, same shit, it's right there with all-time high. It's waiting. It's waiting to drop. If anything, there's gonna be your cushion, your 50%. That's where you gotta pay attention to, your 50%. Again, my indicator is telling me, hey, this is your buying area, these are your targets. You can tell there's a little downtrend trend line that goes right here. I'm not gonna put it because, again, just like my Ethereum, I have too many lines with different colors across the screen like crazy, and I also have the market dissected into certain boxes depending on monthly, where the monthly and the weekly started. Those are important areas. So I'll box from here to right here. I'll make a box. If there's dailies, 12-hour candles, 4-hour candles, 8-hour candles, along the way I'll mark them down. That way, as the market gets trapped in this area, I know, depending on how strong the data, and by data I mean the S&P data, I know where this should be blasting off, and especially with Ethereum. Ethereum guides you where Bitcoin is gonna go. Especially if Ethereum does this burst, then you'll be like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere here. Bitcoin's about to move in a while. So anyways, I marked down these certain the graphs into certain sections. That's where you'll see this right here. But if you see that blue line, that was telling me, hey, this is the last strong resistance this weekly. So that's why I'm saying we're gonna either hold this area. We should hold this area. For worse, it'll be the 102. That's when investors should be panicking. You should hear if they say for the market, blah 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 blah, all that shit like you would. But seeing how we have tariffs coming to an end supposedly Wednesday, Monday and Tuesday supposedly they're gonna be sending out their paperwork. They're gonna wait for a response on Wednesday. I won't say they're gonna extend it. Otherwise, he knows, Trump knows that the market's gonna go down, react back in a bad way. Especially that's gonna be the same day that the Fed talks. So either the Fed's gonna save us, or tariff is gonna save us, because maybe Powell's gonna say something the market doesn't want to really hear. So either or we're gonna get two, where the tariffs and Powell's gonna say the right thing, and the market's gonna continue going up. Or again, Trump is gonna say with Powell's gonna say something that we don't really like, or what we'll be expecting to say, so the market's not gonna really react to that. But then the deal with the tariffs are gonna be controlled, and the market's gonna react happy to that, or it's gonna be bad. And Thursday or Sunday coming up, he's gonna say something like how, hey, we had a talk and we're extending it, blah 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 blah. And then Monday the market's gonna open way more happier from that news. And then that next week we have the bank earning on Tuesday, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's gonna be interesting. Anyway, I gotta carry on too much. So here you go for today. So the market opens at 3. The S&P opens at 3 in Arizona time, 3 p.m. Bitcoin crypto closes its week at 5 p.m. So we're in the daily, and notice how it's still holding bullish. Let's go to the 1 hour candle. So we were stuck here the whole time, which let me know that the market was, there was nothing bad happening over the weekend. No crazy bombs over Iran, no bad news over the weekend. Otherwise, you would have seen this continue as it fucking dropped. So notice as we come for today, 6 in the morning, the market is freaking happy to it. So, and I told that as we come to 11, you're gonna see more and more movement. It stay there, and then when we got to 11 o'clock, it actually drop. But again, I believe it is known for the market to have these big pushing up. It goes back down. People panic. It was a fake down traders that fucks them over, and then the market, then coming towards 3:30, you're gonna see the market then actually either it's gonna be the real one, and you're gonna see a break, and you're gonna close here at 5, either here at 5 or over here at 5, and you should then see also Ethereum doing the same thing probably, and you should see Ethereum also do the same. And again, closing bullish, closing, you guys see, I'm pretty sure XRP is going to be doing the same thing. An indicator real quick that I want to notice or point out is DMI. DMI, the way it works is this white line, you put it at 20. Whatever goes above it is what's happening at the time. But how this really helps you is when you have all these three tying up like that, that tells you the big move happening. So this blue line means that it goes up. Orange line means that the market is going down. And the red is the volume. So whatever goes above the white line is what's happening at the moment. Right now we have a push on up. We fell throughout this last month, but we're currently holding this slight bullishness with the weak volume. That's what that's telling you right now at the current moment. So let's go to the monthly and see how we find. Notice this pattern right here that I noticed. Perfect pattern. So either we're gonna have this big push, and by the time you get here, we're already probably gonna be at new all-time highs. And when we get here, which we're gonna be probably in the 150s, 160s maybe, then you're really gonna see Bitcoin. Because how this really works in the normal graph in the charts is that these are the market will make a pattern, a downtrend pattern, and normally when the downtrend pattern comes up again, the price comes up again to that pattern, to that trend line, it's your breaking point. So investors are looking for that breaking point, They go for a hold, they go for a buy, and the market flies. Or it's a fake down, it's a fake out and it goes back down again. But they anticipate that for a breakout. So the fact that it's doing that perfectly, that's what I'm expecting this. I'm expecting this to be a signal like, yo, we're about to fly some crazy ass numbers. Now I'm gonna go to the weekly. We wanna find these right here. These right here when they tighten up below the white line. You got volume low, neutral, just bouncing around really. The daily. The upper trend that it's happening right now, but still it's weak. You can tell the red. Again, neutral. You can see downtrend is getting weaker. Uptrend still holding, but with still weak volume. The same. Nothing really. So nothing big. Nothing big forming up really right now. Unless I see on the weekly, daily, 12-hour candle, something like that. And then finally, I like checking this one right here. So we go to 313. We're at an all-time high. So right here, look. If you pay attention, this is mimicking how the market. This is pretty much the market. It's just supposed to help you. When the blue line goes above the orange, it says we're going to rally. When it goes below it, we're going to a dump. And as long as we're above these green lines, it's stronger. Blah 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 blah. But the way I see this, I really see this as this is the market right here. This is your 17 pump, your 21 pump, yeah, your 19, 20, 20, yeah, 20 pump, the first one, and then here was the real one. We had that one. We had that FTX crash along with the actual regular market, and then we have the one that we recovered recently, and then we stayed from like the 60s because this was the time we went back to the 60s again. And people were like, "Oh, we're back to the 60s. We're gonna go to high. We're gonna go," and then it went back down. People thought it wasn't gonna be. We went down to the 50s or whatnot, around there, maybe 40s, and then it came back again and shot up from the 60s onto where we are right now. And right now we had that little dump, and look where it's at. So what this is telling me is, if on the monthly, look at the monthly. This was that 21 push on high, and we're currently on a rally since 23. Really, if you put if you go from the bottom, look, I'm gonna show you right now. If you go from the bottom, we're really still on a rally since 23. Really, since 22. Really, we've been on a rally since 22, November 22nd. So technically, we still are on a rally. So let me go back to this. So the fact that we're still holding and we're holding above this, I see that the graph still. So either we're slowly gonna continue this, and by the time we get here, since we're at 106, by the time we get here, we should already be in the fucking, I want to say more than the 150s, or the by the 150s at least. And then, but what's that telling me is that once we get to this price, we're either gonna retrace on down because we peaked and we gotta retest, and we should stop somewhere here again, and then continue with the pad and try one more time really. But that's what's telling me. That's what it was telling me for the S&P. That's how I'll read the S&P with this. It tells me when the market is peaking already, and it's about to drop. For example, all these times right here, you notice all these prices right here. But this one's ugly. The S&P was way more interesting. No. I think it was Bitcoin. Let me check. No, it says S&P. Yeah. So look at the S&P right here. Look how all this time, look how neutral it was. It's like a heartbeat of the rhythm of a heartbeat. Here's that. Yeah, I figured. Here's a 2008 crash. But you see how that's how high it will get, even though we had all these crazy rallies after the 2008 or whatnot. Look how crazy it gets after the COVID. Look how high these numbers start getting above over here and dropping like crazy. You even see a little pattern right here, a little curve. That should also help you out. Every time it will come down, you will mark it up. Could have right here like this. This one, mark it up like this. Something like that. So every time it came down, you go for a buy. Every time it would have hit this area over here, would be for a sell, and so on until we got right here. Then you would know what really happened because the rhythm loses after that. Anyways, you take all this shit out, you guys. I know it's a mess. And then after that, we started seeing this, and then we break that. We break that. That's really bullish, and we're coming back to it. That's telling me that by the time we get here, and since S&P is already the all-time high, and this is curving like a V, by the time it gets here, we're either gonna be probably in the sevens, and we're gonna then retest on down. And if we ever come on down, we're most likely gonna chill in these areas again. And if we do, we create this support, this rally. It's gonna either bounce back up again, and then this time it's gonna be continuing the rally. Or if we hold this area, we start dropping, that means that's the end of the rally, and we have to fucking wait for it to get more momentum again and all that. Let me show you for the weekly watch. Because even though we were in rally, we're barely crossing the border to the United States. Look at this shit. We're barely crossing over to the green grass, and it still has way more to go. So the next, see, look, this is the normal thing right here. This area right here. So it has a lot more to go, and that's if this momentum continues. See, monthly wise, you see how we're holding above that. You see how the blue is going above it, meaning fucking we're getting momentum, we're bullishness. This baby's gonna fucking keep, yeah, it's gonna get some crazy ass numbers. But the moment we start breaking below this on a monthly, that's when we should start selling and whatnot. Alright, but that's gonna be it for this. Was supposed to be Bitcoin. I got carried away. So long. Bitcoin still bullish. Again, we pay attention to 3 o'clock. There should be more movement, more bullishness. That's if nobody tweets, nothing bad, nothing stupid. But yeah, that's